Pawtographs for Pooches came about because of a love story between Tim Maille and his dog Murray. That love story has now expanded, still amongst some trauma and some struggles. Joining me next to talk about that are Tim Maille and Lauren Pearl.
It's time for Survivor Angels, an approach to strengthen trauma survivors. Here, you can escape what draws negativity and engage your positive abilities and the gifts that you've always had. Let's activate your angels. And to help you on that journey, here's Chaplain Jodi.
Tim and Lauren, I'm so happy to have both of you on Survivor Angels. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I know it's kind of like, where do we start? Tim, you and I have talked about your story on here. And that's been, wow, at least a year ago that we did that.
Been a while.
But why don't you kind of give the Reader's Digest a abridged version of it for people who maybe didn't hear it at that point in time, and then we'll get up to speed here with Lauren and where Pawtographs is at and go from there.
Sure. I got to start back in 2006. It gets further and further in the rearview mirror every time I tell the story, but I bought this house that's still living right now, and had some activity in the home. And that's putting it lightly. That's an understatement. Never dealt with anything paranormal up until that point in my life.
Oh.
And combine that with the fact that I was really going through some bad personal issues. I wasn't in a good headspace. So coming into this home, I wanted to get a dog. And I looked online, found a yellow lab pit bull mix. Ironically, the name Striker was being used at the shelter. They had rescued him from the home. He was horribly beaten as a puppy. He was 6 months old. They went into the home and took him from the people that had him. I begged them to come and let me see him. They didn't want to let me because he didn't like men. I'm a pretty sarcastic person just by nature. So I remember telling them that I was no normal man. And I think there's a lot of people out there that would agree. But they eventually, they gave in and they let me come and see him. And they sat me down in a room and told me to wait. They went into a room full of kennels. It was just a long hallway of kennels. And they let him out and he went the wrong way. And if you ever got a chance to meet Murray, and a few people that are listening probably will have met him. He never really did anything the first time. He was a lot like me. So he went the wrong way. They pointed him in the right direction, and he ran to me and jumped into my arms. And that was the start of the most beautiful story that I can think of. Brought him home, and he was hearing and seeing the things that I was experiencing in the home. And for the first time in weeks, I didn't feel crazy. I got my sanity back because of that. Eventually, I ended up starting a paranormal team. Ended up with that case, that perfect case, 2 years into it. It took us 2 years to finish the case. Ended up on Paranormal Witness. Got me a little bit of attention in the paranormal field. And I got a chance to start doing a lot of things at conferences. I kind of glossed over the meat of the story. Just a few weeks after having Murray in the home, everything got the best of me. The things I was dealing with personally, the darkness that was kind of hanging over me, and I had a suicide attempt. And the reason that I'm here today is because Murray walked into that room and he placed his head on my arm. And he snapped me out of it. I firmly believe here 18 years later that I wouldn't be here today if he hadn't walked in. So anything from that moment on in my life, I credit him with. He passed away in 2019. We created Pawtographs for Pooches in 2013. We've raised over $119,000 for shelters around the country. I'm very, very proud of that fact. But none of that happens without him. And I don't want to ever lose sight of that. I've got a great life now. Has a lot to do with the person that's sitting next to me. But, life is pretty wonderful right now. And I wouldn't have gotten to experience anything if he hadn't walked in the room that night.
Right. Yep. And I know the anniversary is still tough for you.
Yeah, I mean, we're coming up on some events here that make things go by a little quicker. But yeah, April is his birthday. Lauren hasn't known me for one of Murray's birthdays, and I'll be honest with you, I try my best to celebrate on those days, but April 25th usually sucks pretty bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's special. Everything about him is special, and Pawtographs for Pooches was created to give him a legacy. I so desperately wanted people to remember him and know what he did for me, and now that what he's done for literally thousands of shelter animals with the money we've raised. So legacy is set, and
Right.
I'm confident in that, and I'm very, very proud of what we've done, and the work's not over.
And I'm sure maybe that there might be some other similar stories to yours out there with shelter dogs. Have you heard any at all?
That's the part that I wasn't ready for when I started sharing my story. Is people would come to my table afterwards and want to tell me their story about how their animal saved their life. I think I was naive to the fact that people were going to want to come and share, that the story was going to resonate with people in a way that it has. I feel a lot of pressure sometimes with that. And I think I've said it in other interviews. I don't know if I've said it to you before, but my greatest fear in doing all of this is that somebody's going to come to my table and I can't help them. And I don't know how that affects me. But I've met some wonderful, wonderful people doing this. I've met children that have come up to me crying that their animal has saved them, and my story means something to them. A little secret: when I do speak publicly, I look over everybody. I don't really make a lot of eye contact because I'm not a great public speaker that way. I don't want to engage. So the few times that children have come up to me afterwards, I had no idea there were children in the crowd. And then I think to myself, oh, I said a lot of bad words when I was talking. But it means something to them. It means something to their parents. And if Sharon Murray's story can do that for somebody and give them hope, then it's worth going through that painful story every time. So yeah, it's part of the deal that I didn't expect. And I don't think there's any getting away from it at this point.
No, but it just solidifies everything with Murray and how key he was, to come into your life and everything. And it just reinforces that over and over and over. Not that you really need it to be reinforced, but if you ever have a day where you're doubting, it's like, there it is. There's the proof that, yeah, it was meant to be. So Lauren, now you entered the picture
Mm-hmm.
not too long ago, fairly recently. What was it about? Was it Tim? Was it the Pawtographs piece? What was it that all of a sudden you two are sitting here right now?
We've had this talk. We have, and we've tried to figure it out. We went a period of time where we were friends, and I think we dissected the friendship and tried to figure out why we were having these feelings. I'll let you go from there, but
I was just gonna say that you told me I was gorgeous.
yeah, I did.
That's all. That's all I was gonna say.
That was the first thing I said to her. Yeah, a little forward, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, can you blame me? I mean, it was I don't know. I'm a blunt person, and it was the first thing that came out of my mouth. But And then I had the good fortune to get to know her. She's just as beautiful on the inside as a person as she is on the outside. So I'm a very, very lucky man.
I know before Lauren says anything, I know I just have to tell you that anytime that I see, pictures of you guys together on Facebook or anything, it's like, man, this is a meant to be thing because you two both look so happy. That's not saying you probably don't have some ups and downs because we all do. But I mean, it's just like, bam, they got this right.
I think we feel that way too.
Nice.
It shouldn't have been as easy as it was, honestly. I think in the time when we were starting to get to know each other, we were going through everything and trying to find differences and trying to find things to argue about. We even jumped into religion and politics, and we were on the same page there. So I was like, I don't know if we can put this off any longer. And luckily, she felt the same way.
Right. So, but still, there must have been some challenges. I mean, I know it's kind of early on in your relationship, so sometimes it's, everything is going so good that you don't often think of them. But what maybe has been a challenge?
You want to tell them what Tony told you?
Oh, the first thing that Tony told me, his friend, was that he hates children, and I have 3 of them.
Oh,
That's exactly her response.
Mhm.
I just never was big on kids. I don't have any, and I don't have any brothers and sisters, so I don't have any nieces and nephews, and I just prefer to, stay away.
Preferred, past tense.
Preferred. Well, I still don't like children. Like, I love your 3 children. That's where we're at. Like, I love them. I would jump in front of a car for them. Any other
right.
kid falls down and I'm laughing. I am laughing hard. But her kids, yes, I love her kids. They're wonderful. They've accepted me. I even get smiles out of the 10-year-old boy from time to time, and I think that's a challenge. But
Wow.
But yeah, things have gone well there too. I mean, better than any of it should have. Really, I mean, that's the common theme. It keeps coming back up. It's
easy.
Yeah, it's been like scary easy, almost. And we're sharing it with the world. So when it blows up and we hate each other, I guess we'll share that with the world too. No.
Somehow I'm thinking, no, that's probably not going to happen. We're a blended family too. So we have 5 kids together. I brought 2 into the mix and my husband brought 3 in. And of course, they're all grown and married. We have 9 grandchildren. I'm not going to bring them around you, Tim. So nope, don't have to worry. I won't.
Yeah, please don't.
Hey, I signed us up to babysit.
When?
Mike's grandchildren.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Well, see it, Jody. You're seeing the beginning and the end right here, live on tape.
No. I'm a healer, not going to break this up. No.
One of the things that I didn't bring up when I was telling Murray's story is I believe you're at Michigan Paracon every year. I think I saw you there last year.
Yep. I was right behind you or right in front of you, whatever.
Yeah. My plan was to walk away this year from Pawtographs for Pooches. So much so that I was telling people that 2024 was last year. I had talked to the promoters of Michigan Paracon, and they were going to have me speak this year and say goodbye. There's a lot of stress that goes in with these events, especially the bigger events. And sometimes I don't handle that so well. Sometimes I expect more from people than I get, and I get disappointed. And I think Lauren is experiencing some of that now as we get closer to the big event. And I was ready to just walk away. And Lauren and I had been talking for maybe 2 months. And she just looked at me and she said, if there was somebody to help take the stress away and help you with this, would you keep going and follow your dream? And I don't want to get too mushy, but that's the exact moment that I knew that she was the one. And have never looked back, because somebody cares about you so much that they want to take on that stress with you so that you don't have to give up on a dream. I can't look at her right now because I'll cry. So I'm going to stare at Jodi's face. She's incredible. And I waited 48 years, but I found somebody that is absolutely perfect for me. And so grateful.
It took me 45 before I got it right. So, because I got it wrong the first time. So, yeah, everything happens in its own time. So, Lauren, Tim is really, talking you up here, which is great. But this is, I'm trying to figure out how I should phrase this question for you. With 3 kids, jumping into another relationship is not easy. So I know Tim, and I mean, I know he can be blunt and kind of in your face sometimes, but at the same time, he's got a heart of gold. Um, but what within you kind of said, this is the right time, he's the right one? What was the light switch flip for you?
He's just always been supportive of anything and everything. Look at me, goddammit.
you just use the Lord's name in vain in front of the chaplain.
You forget I was in the military, so I've said a few things in my day.
But yeah, from day one.
Okay.
Supportive.
So in supporting him, Lauren, where because I mean you're still in I call it the honeymoon phase of getting to know each other, because it hasn't been that long. Where do you go inside? Where do you find your strength to sort all of this out? Maybe that's the way I should put it, because it's a new relationship.
Doesn't seem like it though.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's like
it feels like we've known each other for a really long time.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we started our relationship talking like 8 to 12 hours a day.
Yeah, that's being on the low end, I think.
Yeah.
There was just so much conversation.
Yeah.
And I think after,
like, we got to know each other with like heart and soul before really.
Yeah, it was we knew everything about each other. Neither one of us hid anything.
Mm-hmm.
It was like,
okay,
we're at the point now where either you accept it and you like me for who I am, or I'll move on.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we were both that way, and just very in your face and blunt about things. I am in your face. I that's kind of who I am. But don't let her innocent look fool you, because
we are the same person.
So is she. So it just came really easy from that aspect. I mean, there were other outside factors, that had us pumping the brakes and had us thinking to each other, that we were there was a while there where we were trying to find reasons why we shouldn't, and we couldn't find them.
Politics and religion.
Yeah. We couldn't find them. And after a while, I think we just looked at each other and went like, okay, I guess you're stuck with me. And this is what we are now.
And the stuck is a good fit, I can tell.
Yeah, it's a good stuck. I could tell as soon as I said that and the look I got, then I'm going to pay for that later. But
I looked at you like it was nice.
But no, she's like, I've never, this is going to sound so bad. And maybe it just needs to. Yeah, I was married once before, and I have never, ever wanted to be around one person so badly. I've never missed them like 10 minutes after they've gone.
We've used the word like magnetic pull We've used that.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like this is going to sound like a bad connotation, but it's not. Like, I feel like I'm addicted to her. Like, I need to be around her. And
Yeah.
like, but it's a good thing. Like, I'm happier when she's around.
Yeah.
And in my everyday normal life, I'm happier now too. Like, we were looking through pictures of ourselves in the previous year, and just the photos that we had posted, and you could see in our eyes that we were not happy. And now you see photos of the two of us together, and like, I mean, that we don't need any more proof than that. And then we've had the discussion about Murray. We met on the 25th. Murray's birthday is the 25th. Everything worked so easily. And then within like the last, what has it been, like a month and a half? Like, I wanted so badly for the last 4.5 years to have some sort of conversation or some sort of contact from Murray. From time to time, I will get things as a medium, but I don't call myself a medium because I can't control it. It doesn't happen on my time. It just happens. I'll be on an investigation and a spirit will start talking to me, and I'll be like, wait a minute. And I don't trust myself because I don't really put a lot of effort into building that skill. And about a month and a half ago, all of a sudden, Murray just started chatting. And it was in the middle of a work day, and I'm sitting at my desk and I'm sobbing because he's talking to me. And the things he says, like, he flat out told me, he goes, this one's me. Like, he flat out said, yeah, I did this. So be happy. He's always looking out for me. And
he's your angel.
Till
There's
the
no
day
two
I'm
ways about
gone,
it. He is your angel.
I believe that. I really do. And we talked about that the last time I was on your show. He's always got my back. Like, I never have to worry. Like, things may not always be perfect, but at the end of the day, they're going to work because you're not going to let Dad fail. We've had some struggles with the event that's coming up in 2 weeks. And when this airs, it'll already have happened. And hopefully we had a very successful event. We've had some issues with that event. And Lauren has really stepped up and said, we're not going to let it fail. And I didn't think I could love her more than I did, but I do. And I heard Murray today, and all he said was, thanks, Mom. He recognizes her as Mom.
Huh?
So
that's cool. Yeah. That's
so
so awesome.
He's happy for me. I think he's pulling the strings. I'm just the puppet.
So, Lauren, what is it about Pawtographs that's special for you? I know what it is for Tim, but of course you came into this then and on the 25th. But what's your piece of it that is really close to your heart?
Pawtographs is Tim.
Okay.
Tim is Pawtographs.
I would agree. Yep. Poor Tim. We should have brought Kleenex in for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, so let's get on to something that that maybe isn't quite so emotional, but still about Pawtographs. What you thought about, with Michigan saying, okay, this is it and stuff. But where's Pawtographs going now?
That's you.
That's me. I was really hoping you were going to take that. We've got the big event here that'll be done by the time this airs. We've got to have some conversations about where we want to take that event. That event specifically, I don't think it can survive the way it is right now.
Oh.
So there's some difficult decisions to make there, but we've talked about doing some smaller events, some smaller investigation events, and then also kind of branching out outside of the paranormal and focusing more on mental health, suicide prevention, that type of thing. So I guess the long answer is all of the words I just said. And the short answer is it's a work in progress. We're trying to figure it out. We do have events planned at the Palmer House in May. And then in July, we'll be at the Hinsdale House. I think I would like to try to get into more events as a speaker and not necessarily run my own events. So we're kind of concentrating on that too. Just trying to take some of the pressure off and have fun with it again. You know, when you got a big event and you got to make everybody happy, and the budget just keeps going up and up and up, and you know, the ticket sales aren't where you would like them to be. It feels like the weight of the world is on your shoulders. And you know, for a guy that walks around and preaches mental health and taking care of yourself, I should probably follow my own advice and not do things that cause me great stress and mental health issues. So that's where we're at right now.
But I mean, you know, at the same time, because I'm planning, well, it was going to be a summit in February, but then our key speaker, she's a good friend of mine, a psychotherapist, her husband had a heart attack. And it's like, without her, because it was a mental health event, we couldn't go forward with it. So now, you know, we're regrouping and looking at when can we do it, and is it going to look the same? Because in that process, we thought maybe we were kind of going down the wrong path with it, and we needed to regroup a little, which we've started to do. But you know, the first time out, because this would be the first time out for me with an event, it's a risk, you know. Life is risks, and if you believe in it and you're passionate about it, sometimes you just got to take that leap of faith, as stressful as it is, knowing that you're going to learn a lot and the next one will be better. Don't you think?
Well, I've done a lot of learning in the last 5 years, and I'm sick of learning. Every event ends up working out. There's just a lot of costs that go into a larger event, and trying to finance that. You know, there's a lot of stress. I think probably smaller events is where I should stay. We've done, I mean, this is Pawtographs Parafest 5, you know, that's coming up. So it's our 5th time. And we've been very successful with it. It's been our best event. Last year we had an event in Ann Arbor. We had 16 inches of snow the night before, and we still raised $11,000. And we went into that weekend, and I was actually down money too. So it gives me hope that we walk into Ann Arbor in 2 weeks. Of course, I'm burying the lead here because this show airs after the event. You know, last year I went in with a lot of trepidation, and at the end of it, I just had to look at everybody there and say, Michigan wouldn't let it fail. I'm hoping that happens again. But if it doesn't, then there has to be conversations, because it has to make sense, you know, because yes, Pawtographs is Tim and Tim is Pawtographs, like Lauren said. But at the end of the day, there's a lot more things that Lauren and I want to accomplish. And we can't get buried in a bunch of, you know, nonsense and drama, trying to have an event that, you know, might not want to be saved. Is that the right way to say it? I love the events. I love the camaraderie. I just don't like the lead up to the event, because it makes me a really terrible person to be around. Let's be honest. I'm not as fun to be around here the last few weeks as I have been, you know, previously. And I warned her of that, that the stress and anxiety gets to me. But yeah. So I mean, that's
still here.
She's still here.
Exactly.
You know, we're a team. She keeps telling me that, and I firmly believe it. And you know, I don't know who's going to watch this, and if it's her parents at some point. I just want to say thanks for making the perfect woman. Just honestly.
There you go.
Yeah. Plus, I love her dad. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Her mom's okay too, but her dad's amazing. Yeah.
I like just spit because that was so ridiculous.
I'm just trying to get points, Mike. I'm sorry. Just trying to get points.
So, a question. Everybody has mental health challenges. Some are greater than others. Um, and I know both of you kind of have a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So how do you live with each other? Is that a good way to put it? Knowing that, Tim has these pieces of it and Lauren has these pieces of it. How do you make that work? Or is it just because you know that you are so right for each other that it works itself out?
Well, it's interesting because we don't let each other spiral, even if we are spiraling ourselves. Right? Would you
Okay.
agree?
It's like we both have experienced it, so we pretty much have the same brain.
Yeah.
So we understand when it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And even if one of us is having a horrible day, if the other is having all of these challenges, the person that's having the horrible day drops
Snaps out of it.
drops all of their stuff to take care of the other.
Mhm.
And it works. It just works because we understand each other on that level. I think it works better this way than it would, say, if I was with somebody that had never experienced any mental health issues. Because then they look at you and they're like, you're doing it for attention. You're crazy. I don't know what's wrong with you. Snap out of it. Just be happy. I've heard all of those things.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Sure.
It's one of the reasons I hate my ex-wife. But I digress. But with the two of us,
Mhm.
like, it was easy. We recognized the signs. We even had a name for it. Because can I tell him you overanalyze?
Yeah.
She used to. She doesn't do it so much anymore.
Yeah.
You don't.
Okay.
No.
But she overanalyzes a lot of stuff. So we called it OAing.
Yeah.
So if she
Okay.
started to spiral, I would be like, Lauren, you're OAing right now. You need to believe
You
in me.
do.
I do.
Yeah.
I do too. I'm not saying I don't.
Mm-mm.
And when I have those moments, she's like, Tim, you're OAing. Like, knock it off. Like, believe in me. And it's just like we said in the beginning, it's just, it shouldn't be this easy.
Mhm.
And it has been. I know when we went public with us, we expected backlash. We expected certain people to not be happy for us. And there's a few, and they don't need to exist with us anymore. Yeah, you're either happy for us or you get out of the way. It's, it's a team, and there's no room for anybody trying to get in between that. So, but yeah, I keep going back to, it's been so simple. Like, I just look in the mirror and I think to myself, the little dude set me up with who he knew would be perfect for me. And he made it happen. You weren't even supposed to be there that weekend.
I wasn't going to go.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, the
There
last
you
minute,
go.
yeah. And, there was just no reason to. I mean, the biggest reason that I kept in contact initially is because it was another paranormal group from Wisconsin. And I got to know them a little bit. We lived close enough to one another that I kept in touch. And then I could not stop talking to this one. And eventually I didn't talk to the other three at all. And it's just turned into, Tim and Lauren, and Lauren and Tim. I'll play second fiddle. I don't care. But yeah, I mean, everything fell into place the way it should have been. Like, she decided at the last minute that she was still going to go. And for those that don't know, we met at Michigan Paracon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, met that weekend, August 25th, and been talking on some level ever since. And just, it has grown and grown and grown. And there's no, like, I'm not proposing on air right now, but there's no doubt in my mind that she's the one.
Let's go ahead. Let's do it.
No.
She wants the views.
She wants to use.
Remember, I do weddings.
Yeah, but no,
I do civil weddings. I do them however you want them.
in all seriousness, though, and like I've never realized anything this perfect. Like there's just like I look at her and like I will say this: nobody better mess with her, because I will defend this woman to my death. So that's a warning for anybody that decides they want to say a bad word about her. Yeah, she's my person, and yeah, end of story.
Yeah. Well, everything that you two have been through in life, you deserve this. You deserve this happiness. You deserve each other. Hopefully it'll always stay this good. I mean, there'll be moments, I'm sure, but you got a great handle on this, and it's because it's meant to be. I mean, you get each other, which I think is incredibly awesome. And good old Murray saved the day for both of you. So thank you. Thank you for coming on Survivor Angels. And I wish you two all the best. Lauren, I can't wait until I meet you in person. I get to hug you. Tim's kind of tall for me, but I think you're going to be more my height.
Thank you for having us on.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks again for joining Chaplain Jodi on Survivor Angels. For more information, go to chaplainjodi.me. That's chaplainjodi.me. And on Facebook at Survivor Angels-Chaplain Jodi. Sound effects for the show created by Andre Opate and provided by Pixbay. This is Dave Schrader. Until next time, sending you off to activate your angels.